Welcome to the Marvels, Mysteries and Midlanders podcast. Prepare to take a dive into all things mythical, eerie and downright strange. Stick around. You might just enjoy yourself.
Here we are. It is 10:14 in the AM, Saturday morning, and we are preparing for your daily dose of occultism. Good morning, everyone. You're listening to Marvels, Mysteries and Midlanders with me, James Alexander, Julian Collins, and Lewis Carter, who has got some very flat hair. You okay over there?
Yeah, just slashed it.
Yeah, I guess I'm all right. Yeah, could be better, mate. Could be better. So yeah, hi guys, how are we doing?
Not bad. And yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I've woken up today, which is good, before the hour of 11. I think, you know what, guys? I brushed my hair. I've even brushed my teeth, which is just a great start. So,
fucking mad, man.
Yeah, it has been said. It has been said. Other than being completely clean, Lewis, how are you?
Good.
I'm glad. I'm very glad about that. So yeah, today I'm going to take a sit back, and Julian's taking the reins because he is the real deal. What you got for us, buddy?
I do indeed. I've got something for you. So, today is about a little place. If you go to the University of Reading, if you attend it as a student, you may be familiar with a building called Foxhill House. That is where today's episode is going to take place.
So, give us a quick little... So I kind of said at the start, didn't I, about occultism. Is that the only thing, or is there more than that? There's
a tiny bit more. Tiny bit more. Occultism is the main deal as such. But yeah, so basically, Foxhill House, as if you can see on my Zoom background, obviously audio listeners and all of our listeners, because it's audio only, cannot. But as you can see, there is this lovely building behind me, and it is a beautiful building. It's based in a place called White Knights Park in Reading, which is part of the university. And like, you can go and visit it. It is really cool. It's like super gothic Victorian. Like, I'm not sure what they use it for, but you can go in and have a look. Some of the original stuff is still there.
The fact that we don't know what the university use it for is just prime for a myth to start, a rumour to start.
Well, this is it. And
like university sex parties or sacrifices, all the weird stuff, man.
I'm glad you said sex parties, James, because we're going to get to that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. All right.
Yeah, this is why I do it, baby.
But basically, as you can see, it does just look like a building, which is just some sort of murder mystery setting, or like some sort of Hogwarts setting. So, you got to get that sort of vibe from it. Yeah. But before we get into the folklore and the mystery surrounding the house, let's a little bit of background on the house itself. So it was built in 1868 by an architect called Alfred Waterhouse. He built it to be his own house. So, obviously an architect, he was like, I'm going to smash this one out of the park because I'm going to live here. And then he moved out a couple of years later. Literally, in 1871, he moved to a different house. But he still owned this one. He just rented it out to some people.
To some,
instead.
Working class folk, obviously.
Yeah, well, yeah, the size of that. couple of quid a month, no drama. But he just moved out for some reason, which is weird because, that's not a cheap build and it's not a quick build. So to move out in 3 years is odd behaviour. Yeah,
but suspicious indeed.
He moved outside of Reading to a little village, which is kind of near me. It's called Yattenden. And he lived in the Manor of Yattenden, which is...
How many little villages are around you, June?
So many.
You live in a village, don't you?
I do. It's all villages, mate. Yeah. So basically, where I live, you got Reading, about 10 miles away.
All right.
You've got Newbury, the opposite direction, as well. You've got Oxford, which is about 20 miles away. Between those towns, it's just villages.
With all very interesting names. It's always the names that get me. They're always called something like Royce Valley.
We've got...
Yeah.
There's one called Blueberry.
Blueberry,
that's nice.
Gooseberry.
We've got Yattendon, we've got Hermitage, Basildon, Bradfield.
It's all good, man. You can't carry on with the story. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get you into just naming villages around.
But I mean, well, but one of them, Yattendon, is where he moved to. He moved to the Manor of Yattendon. He then, after a few years, sold the house to a gentleman called Rufus Daniel Isaacs. Now, I was reading up about this guy. I got into a little rabbit hole because he basically had a title list. Like, all of his titles was longer than my CV. The man was crazy. Like, he just did loads of things. Like, he was ambassador to the USA, Attorney General, Chief Justice, Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs, Viceroy of India, and that's like the first half of his career.
How do you get that many titles? How do you have time to be all of these things?
I don't know. This is what's crazy. The man just kept doing things. That was a little rabbit hole I got into. But he was also, fun fact, Rufus Daniel Isaacs was the first Jewish person to gain the title of Marquess, or Marquis, what was it?
Marquis?
No, yeah, you know. But the Marquess of a large town, in this case of Reading. He was the first Jewish person to hold that title.
And what year was that?
That would be late 1800s.
Feels like it should have happened a lot earlier, but, you know. Whatever history.
That's a bit, you know, Britain's not got the best history in that regard, but there we go.
Most places do, to be honest.
But we don't know when exactly this occurred, but another person that said to visit the house a lot was a gentleman named Aleister Crowley.
Mr. Crowley!
Yeah, Aleister Crowley, who was he was part of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn.
That's one of them, yeah.
Yeah, that's where he started.
He had his dirty fingers in a lot of pies, man. And
yeah. So, I mean, how are we feeling so far about... it's just a little brief history, but I thought...
You said his name. You said, like, you know, it was all fairly historical, you know. Somebody owned it and somebody moved away. Still feel weird that guy built that house for himself and they moved out 3 years later. Still feel
that's odd.
That could just be... It could just be, you know, circumstances, but it just seems weird. He built the house for himself and he did one. But he probably thought, I'm going to build a better house 3 years later.
Yeah, I don't know what happens when you're an architect. When you stop building a house, is it like, oh, shit,
yeah,
well,
it's cursed.
I need to build another house now?
It's cursed, mate. Keep moving. Cursed.
Maybe he did.
Cursed.
Maybe he cursed it.
Don't know, man. Don't know how to do it. But yeah, now you've mentioned...
I mean, and look at that house. If I lived there,
I wouldn't be moving anytime soon. Leave. No, I think I'd be happy there. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Until the University of Reading knocks on your doors and goes, you like it or not, we're buying your house. And you're like, but I live here. And they're like, I don't care. Education comes first. Get out!
No, you got to do that guy. Like, have you seen the pictures of that guy that refused to move house when they were building a motorway? So there's a motorway that just like splits round his house.
Yeah.
Have to do one of them. Be like, yeah, you can build a university here. But
I mean, you can't complain.
I'm staying. So.
If you live by a motorway, yeah.
Well, you can't complain because they would have been like, we told you to move.
That's noisy.
Yeah. I don't want it.
I know. Absolutely.
But what a guy. Just like, no, I'm not moving. Okay, we'll offer you. And they just kept offering him more money.
And like, oh, I'm not moving still.
Just staying.
That's a criminal criminal case in the making. Yes, probably is. But now you've mentioned
theft.
The one Alistair Crowley, the absolute madman. I mean, there's so much to go into Alistair Crowley. It would take a lot of research to truly cover Alistair Crowley, and we could one day devote ourselves to that. We probably could. Not right now.
Could, but that might be a
probably longer.
I think that'd be 2 episodes as well, wouldn't it?
Probably a lot longer than that. But the thing is, with that, those kind of things you have to kind of take your time to research it because there's all the little details. All I do know is from reading about him is that he was a bit of a deviant.
For those that don't know who he is.
I want to know what Lewis thinks of Aleister Crowley.
Well, I don't know who he is. That's what I was going to say. Should I know who he is?
He's quite infamous, but I'll fill you in.
Like, I wouldn't say you'd need to know who Aleister Crowley is to get through life, but on this podcast, Lewis, if you want to be part of this, you've got to know. You've got to know. So today's an education for Lewis Carter. Lewis Carter will be inducted into the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn.
If the occult pops up in Britain, chances are Aleister Crowley is somehow tied to it.
Somehow, whether it's minuscule or bloody massive. He gets around.
Well, the house, I like it.
It's good, isn't it? It's super, super gothic, and I'm all about the gothic architecture.
So did he just live in it on his own for 2 years, or?
Well, I couldn't see anything about him being married. Now, that doesn't mean he wasn't, because I don't think there was a great... I don't think he was super, super notable as an architect.
Right.
He did a few things.
Yeah.
And then sort of retired.
Cool.
I think
that's a
the
decent
quote
answer,
for this...
isn't it? You did a decent job.
I like it. I'm not sure why he decided over here there's like a curve. It like does a 90-degree angle, and there's an extra bit of house.
Sex dungeon. It's got to be a sex dungeon, for sure. No other excuse.
Just a whole sex wing.
Yeah, sex wing. Hi guys, welcome to the house. Right wing's for dining, entertainment. Left wing is for absolute sickening acts of pleasure. Yeah. Enjoy.
That's it. Go drop your stuff off, and we'll have dinner.
Are you alright?
Hello everyone, welcome back. Who are we? I don't know. We're listening to Marvel's Mysteries and Midlanders, and I'm joined by Julian and Lewis. And if you've just tuned in, why are you tuning in like 20 minutes into the episode? What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, who starts
Go back to the start.
20-minute mark?
Who, what kind of host, acts like it's the start of the episode again? This isn't television. This is just a podcast. Anyway, Julian, take us back into it.
All right. Well, before the old break, we got on to the gentleman that is Aleister Crowley, and I'm aware because I didn't know too much about him, but then Googling and getting in the rabbit hole, I learned a lot.
Good.
So, for those that don't know, Aleister Crowley was a English occultist, poet, artist, writer, magician, alchemist, among other things. Like, the man just did whatever he felt like doing that day when he woke up.
And sex god.
And sex god.
Don't forget that.
He was a member of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, which is where his sort of foray into the occult began. So he started off, as you do with these things, bottom rung, but he rose the ranks quite quickly. But the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn is like a secret society. It's like proper Da Vinci Code-ish stuff. But they devoted themselves to the occult, metaphysics, and paranormal practices. So it included things like rituals, spells, magic, that sort of areas where they hung out. But yeah, Aleister Crowley was rising up through the ranks. Then he sort of hit a barrier where he tried to he hit like a glass ceiling, and he wanted to go past it, but the higher ranks of the order decided they didn't like the fact he was bisexual, and they didn't like his liberal leaning.
Yeah, nah, none of those, mate.
So they're like, no, you stay down there.
I don't know if you read. I mean, obviously, because I've not researched Aleister Crowley. Was he involved with a certain club of other deviants, the Hellfire Club?
I'm not.
Was he involved with those?
It didn't pop up in my research.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is the Golden Dawn, because, basically I heard he was just too sexy for a sex cult, or something like that. That might be what you're onto, June.
Well, I mean, have you seen pictures of Aleister Crowley? I wouldn't describe... Sexy isn't the word that comes to mind.
Later in life, but when he was younger... Hold on, I need to research this.
But yeah, so... But the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn is like... That's the precursor to loads of things that are around today. So religions like Wicca or Thelema are... born out of practices with the Golden Dawn. But Aleister Crowley, when they said, no, you're too bisexual and you're too liberal to rise these ranks, he tried to start a mutiny. Absolutely failed.
Respect.
Didn't work at all.
That's all right. He tried, man. Hey,
he tried. But
also, he's as a young man, he's got a very intense glare. It's not for me, man.
He's impressively bald.
Doesn't say passionate lover. It says nothing good, man. Nothing good at all.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is the thing. When he failed his mutiny to take over the Golden Dawn, he left to form his own religion called Thelema, which he ended up traveling around a lot to try and recruit people, and this was all funded by him having a massive inheritance, which didn't last forever. So he actually, when he died, he was quite poor and destitute because he just spent all his money trying to have a sex cult. But so Thelema is like another form of occultism that focus on ancient deities, and Islamic mysticism is the two things I found.
There's a bit of paganism in there, right?
There's a bit of stuff, but they also did things like mountaintop sex rituals and blood magic.
Blood magic, that's where it's at, man. That's the most dangerous. That's the
real business, that is.
Blood magic, man.
But yeah, he used to just take groups of people to the top of a mountain. Well, probably not the biggest mountains in the world, but like to relatively small mountains. It was like
a small hill. A small hill. I can see you from down here. What are you doing up there, Alistair?
You're not in the clouds, mate. It's not even a different altitude.
Just let me have this, please.
But yeah, they used to just...
Alistair needs this.
They used to like really just get into it. And
yeah, it feels like it'd be a bit awkward. Like, so, I mean, like maybe it's just me as a person, but I've never really, been.
See,
I've never tried it. I guess you can't knock it till you tried it. But I get a bit, performance anxiety. There's too many people watching.
I'm always a little bit suspicious that the man who Aleister Crowley in this situation, who has decided that a sex ritual must happen, knows that it's not going to work, and it's just like, these guys, they'll fall for this. And we can do some right weird stuff.
With these cult leaders and like magicians.
Get out the rope, get out the hungry hippos, get out.
They're the thing is like, so it's just like basically what we're going to do is we're going to go to this room, we're all going to bang each other, shove Twixes in up your holes, and then. But the thing is, it's the reasoning they have for it. It's like, obviously, to them, it's just, oh, yeah, I'm into this. But the real reason is like, this would allow you to become closer and more enlightened to the one true Lord. And they're like, yes, I will do this for the one true Lord. When the truth is, they're just going, oh, yeah. So,
I feel like maybe that's just me not being with a wide enough worldview. But I just think it is an excuse just to go, let's do it.
Yeah, man.
And then for more easily influenced people to go, he's not trying to take advantage of.
Yeah.
He's trying to cast magic.
I enjoy the Twixes in my orifices. What can I say?
But that was like, I mean, I guess that, getting back on topic, is a brief overview of Aleister Crowley. No, I'm terrible for it.
Lewis, how do you feel about...
Now you know a bit more about Aleister Crowley. What do you think?
Interesting bloke.
Sex god.
Yeah.
Horny devil.
You've got to be a bit odd to be a cult leader, haven't you?
Yeah, well, this is... Because the religion that he started is technically still around today. I don't think it's very widely practiced, but some people do still practice it. But he went to places like... Well, he went to America to try and recruit people. He went to Paris. Actually, he spent a lot of time in France, just around and about, trying to get people involved in his horny occultism.
From what I remember, when he got married, I think he had his honeymoon inside one of the Great Pyramids.
I didn't know that. That's fun.
That's quite cool.
Well, I mean, again, his religion is all about getting closer to ancient deities, and you can't get much more ancient than Egypt.
Well, Julian, actually, what about Sumeria? That I believe that could predate.
Yeah, I didn't say they were the most ancient. I'm just saying, if you bring up the
aliens,
Romans, the Greeks, the aliens built the pyramids.
Yeah, I've seen Indiana Jones 4. What a waste of time that was. Yeah.
Don't worry, they're doing a fifth one now.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Of course they are, Julian. But I'm just
can't wait for Indiana Jones 6.
When Harrison Ford's corpse is just wheeled about on a rope in a room.
Harrison Ford is just like, I'm just knackered, and it's like, no, Shia LaBeouf's dragging him around.
Yeah. What they're going to do is they're going to put Harrison Ford's desiccated body on like a harness attached to a roof and just kind of like swing him around like some sort of fun swing for the whole scene. He'll just be going, "Hey kid."
To be fair, Harrison Ford is a very sprightly man for his age.
He says apparently he's tried to stay fit just for the role of Indiana Jones when it comes about.
Yeah, they're doing a video game as well, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Yeah, I think Machine Games are making it. Wolfenstein guys. But anyway, let's continue.
Yeah, sorry, Foxhill House. So looks cool from the outside, but there's not really any pictures of the inside. That I could find. But there's a few really weird design elements which lend to the fact Aleister Crowley used to come in and bring his cult and do occultist shit in there. So inside the house, there are staircases that supposedly lead to nowhere.
Oh, I love a good old spooky staircase to nowhere.
Just get to the top. Wall, brilliant. Okay, so there is also the windows have some sort of stained glass in them, and within the stained glass there is monsters and creatures and design things hidden amongst the stained glass. Again, I'm annoyed with myself because I tried to verify this, but I couldn't find any pictures. There doesn't seem to be that many. But the weirdest thing, which is like the biggest occult Satanist thing that is in there, is in the fireplace, there is a picture of the Nativity. Standard Nativity. You got 3 wise men, you got Mary, you got Joseph, you got Jesus, you got the donkey, you got all the business.
Okay.
But when the fire is lit, it specifically lights the fire around Mary and Jesus.
Okay.
Which apparently is like the Satanists trying to burn Christ.
Nice. What about Joseph? No. Is he like just? He's not involved. I mean,
Joseph,
the guy didn't really do much, did he? He kind of got cuckolded, mate. He got cooked.
Yeah, like I was going to say, I don't know what he did after the Nativity.
Hey, he was a carpenter and he allowed Jesus to learn a proper job. Well, that's the thing with Satanism, isn't it? Like, modern day Satanism is massively different because obviously everyone thinks Satanism, devil worship, whatever. It's always like, oh, summon demons, sacrifice people. But the truth is, I think modern day Satanism, to be really broad about it, I think it's more about, rather than relying on a deity to basically give you, something in life, like, you pray for it. It basically says to believe that you can do it yourself, work for yourself, which...
I mean, the church,
in that case, I'm a Satanist.
The Church of Satanism is that they're actually sound dudes.
Yeah, I'd have to do a lot more research. I can't just, because what I just said then could have been completely, like, terrible butchery of the,
No, like, their messaging, they don't actually want to kill anyone, which lots of people think they do. They don't want to hurt anyone. They're just like, we just want to chill, we just want to have a good time, and we want to not be made to feel bad about having a good time.
Can't ask for much more than that, really.
Cool. Yeah, I'm good with that.
So this fireplace you mentioned, is that still there? Like the whole burning.
So. As far as I know. I mean, also a tangential thing. I was doing some, not talking to Alistair Crowley. I was doing some research.
Yeah, you were.
Crowley. Wish I was. That'd be very interesting.
You know what would have happened, Juno?
I found out that he had a really interesting way of making money, which is basically magical extortion.
I love the sound of that already.
So basically what he used to do is he used to go around to people, like rich people, and curse them. And then he'd then approach the person and say, someone's cursed you, mate. Pay me and I can get rid of that curse.
Get off of my property, you... you bounder!
Yeah, he just basically was just like... And people used to fall for it. Like, he used to get loads of people paying him for, like... He's basically, like, protection for hire, but magical.
Lewis, so, like, I wouldn't say you're a skeptic, Lewis, but you're a man of logic. You're a man of grounded belief. Somebody coming to your door, a real attractive, cult-looking guy with a very intense stare. Yeah. And he was like, listen, mate, basically... you've been cursed, and the only way to get rid of it is to pay me some money, and it'll go away. You don't want to be cursed, do you? What would you do?
Okay, not today, thank you, bye.
My wife was like, but you don't understand, mate. If you make me leave now, you will die a horrible death because of this curse. You've been proper hexed, mate.
You'd be talking to a closed door at that point. So they close the door.
But what if you just heard...
Seriously, mate, you need to
He's persistent, he is.
Yeah, he's persistent, man, this guy. Yeah.
I'd go, okay, not interested. I'd rather be cursed.
To be fair, it'd be way more interesting to be cursed.
Then give you money, mate. So, you know.
All right.
Off you
Bye.
go. Off you go.
Bye then.
Yeah,
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
And then he sets your house on fire and he's like, told you you've been cursed, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, though, it depends what curse it is, because some curses are just like, oh, you lose all your money. But others are like, he's like Stephen King's Thinner, Native American curse. He gets like, this fat guy, he just gets progressively thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner, like he's literally eating away. That would scare me, I think. Like a degenerative curse. Or like being constantly hounded by a demon. That would be pretty spooky.
Maybe I should, like, okay, not today then, but if it happens to me, can I have your number? And then we can sort
This
it out.
Back in the 1800s, though, they didn't have mobile numbers and stuff.
Telegram or whatever. They do that. Use your address. And
Okay, mate. I'll be waiting for you. All right. Cheers.
But it would have to be something pretty bad. Like that fat eating disease or whatever that bloke got.
That's not real, by the way. It's a Stephen King story, I think, or a film. It's maybe both. I don't remember. But anyway, off topic again. Back to it.
Well, I mean, it's good because this brings us towards the end of Foxhill House. Basically, it's just Crowley just used to come in and culted up the place, and then apparently it's just sort of persisted there ever since. One thing I did find was he did try to summon ancient Egyptian deities in the house. So I could, I might go for a walk around Reading and just bump into like Ra or someone.
Yeah. Hello there. Do you know the nearest farm store?
And I'd just be too alarmed by their head to do anything.
What does he have? Is that the dog-headed one?
That's Anubis, mate. It's Jackalhead, actually.
Ra is the bird.
He's the bird.
Bird.
I've always been a fan of Sebek, mate. Crocodile head or alligator.
Wouldn't they just always be looking up though, because alligators don't have necks?
I think he's got like a curved neck. But yeah, a guy walking about on all fours like, hello, I am Sebek.
I'm just picturing a guy like human man, but the head just is always going straight upwards because he can't. He has no neck and can't look.
That's so disturbing. Guy like.
You'd have no idea what's going on any of the time.
He's the goofball of the pantheon.
He is. I feel like he's the one he'd be the one that gets bullied.
Yeah, probably. You've got no neck, bro. Leave me alone. I can't. Yeah, and that's it. At least I could swim. Marvels, mysteries, and Midlanders.
Well, the good news is there is an additional ghost. Ooh. We've got a bonus ghost of Foxhill.
I love ghosts.
Now, what's really cool about this ghost is this is my favourite kind of ghost, right? This is my favourite kind of haunting. And that is a time loop. The ghost does not interact with anyone. The ghost just relives one part of its life over and over and over, regardless of what you do. So no one's actually interacted with this ghost, but people have just seen her. So the ghost is a young woman riding through the grounds on the back of a horse, obviously. So apparently this ghost wasn't paying attention to what was going on around her, and literally, she rode the horse through a gate, but it was one of those gates with the top bit, and just absolutely beheaded herself. Just game over. Just because she just wasn't looking at what's going on. But apparently the ghost appears further down the road and rides up until she loses her head and then disappears. And then
so that's the residual haunting, isn't it?
I think so. I just call them time loops.
Yeah. That sounds probably a lot cooler.
It's a bit sciencey, a bit sci-fi.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So apparently it's just there's some debate. Some people say every midnight. Some people say it's a certain date every year. But she basically just appears down the road, rides a horse, is looking around herself like, whatever's going on around me is going on around me, and then head gone, and then ghost disappears.
Is the thing that cut her head off still there, or is it just kind of like
no? That is gone. The house has been Like the outside walls and everything have been remodeled a few times, so a lot of that stuff is now gone. And I imagine, once it kills someone, they're like, oh, health hazard maybe. Although they weren't that careful. So
was she just really tall?
Well, she's on a horse, so it might have been a really big horse.
Long neck lady, or she could have been one of those beast horses. I mean, I'm not sure what the correct term is, but we'll go with beast horses for now. Sorry to take you back to the cult. So, was it just kind of Aleister Crowley who had a bit of a mess about in there?
It was. So he started recruiting there, and then the people that he recruited stayed there, and apparently it sort of is born from that. I don't know. I think since the university acquired it, there's not been any like student occultism going on there, but it'd be really cool if there was like some sort of initiation, weird Hellfire Club type deal. But
that's fair enough. Lewis, how would you feel about seeing Lady Ghost losing her head, just popping off, as it were?
Whoa, like that.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Does she disappear when she leaves her head, or does like her body just keep riding down the road?
How I like to picture it is it's like she bashes her head into this gate and then just puffs into smoke.
Yeah. That's cool.
Probably be a lot more scary though if she carried on going without a head. The headless horse.
Well, I mean, you would, wouldn't you, for a while? Like it's like that thing where you cut if a chicken's running and gets its head cut off. I was about to say if you cut off a chicken's head, but I don't know how you do that while it's running.
But
it just
throw a shuriken at it, maybe.
Well, yeah, if you're a ninja, you could probably manage this. But yeah, then it'd keep going. Apparently, it keeps going, doesn't it? And for like
there's that
7 or 8 seconds.
Story of that one. There's that one chicken that his head come off, and he survived for months, maybe even years. And this guy took him around sideshows, and basically kept him alive by feeding him water and food through his stump. And the only reason he died was because they lost his feeding tube, and he just died.
Yeah, but like how? You don't have a brain. The brain is like that is the important bit. If I am anything, I'm a brain in a slab of meat. Like if I lose the brain, that's the bit of me that's like conscious gone. So I don't get this chicken. I've heard of this chicken, and it winds me up because it doesn't make any sense. And I don't like things that don't make sense.
You can't question weird things in science, okay? Sometimes, but they say that when a human's head gets cut off, it's still aware for like 6 seconds or something, don't they?
Yeah, but it's the head that's aware, not the body.
Well, that we know of. There could be plenty of headless people walking about. They've just got like, you see those people who have faces that look like there's people out there who have faces like mannequins. They could be headless people living a lie.
It could be, But
have you ever seen those people who just look too plasticky? They look like autons from Doctor Who, mate.
Are they the mannequins?
Yeah, with the guns in the hand. Yeah, those ones. Yeah.
I remember Christopher Eccleston days.
Oh, what a guy! What a doctor.
To be fair, I haven't watched Doctor Who since David Tennant, so
I didn't watch it since Matt Smith finished. It's just Oh, actually, don't tell a lie. I watched the Jodie Whittaker series, but I'm not going to anymore because it's just she's doing a great job, but everything else is.
And there's so many of them, innit? There's just so. I thought he was supposed to like die after like the 13th or the 12th regeneration.
Yeah, he was. But then they were like, I think in Matt Smith they were like, well, the Gallifreyans have gifted you an extra regeneration. Oh, it's just.
Yeah, and then he got another one after that. It's like.
The thing is with sci-fi, you can write any crap up to basically get around rules you set like years ago.
Bugs me though, because it's like, no, you set these rules, stick to these rules. Yes, I'm aware that you won't be able to cash in on it, but do a spin-off, do a Doctor Who cinematic universe, like Torchwood again. Do
it, yeah, exactly. But anyway, we're getting sidetracked.
We're really, really off topic. We're talking Doctor Who now.
Yeah, that's very related to Alistair Crowley.
This is what happens when I down a coffee before we start recording, is my brain just...
I had my first cup of tea today in absolutely months, like months and months and months. I just felt like one, and maybe that's why I'm all like... So, up next is Lewis Carter's Thing of the Week.
It's not a podcast. It's a way of life!
Seriously, though, it's just a podcast. So, Lewis Carter, what do you have for us?
My thing
Get
of the week.
It changes every week, man. It's a factoid, a story. I'm just going to go with thing of the week.
Yeah. Well, we've been talking a lot about Egypt
Shrek.
today, haven't we?
Oh, Egypt, yeah.
Yeah. And it just happens to be that my fact thing, whatever you want to call it, is about mummies.
God, you just couldn't plan this, could you? Just couldn't plan this.
You couldn't plan. No, exactly.
I mean, we probably could have, but yeah, maybe it doesn't matter.
So,
Yep, sorry.
you two might have heard this story because I remember hearing this story when it came out. And it was about researchers who had they've like done 3D scans on a mummy's body, and they've used these scans to mimic the voice of a 3,000-year-old Egyptian mummy by recreating much of its vocal tract using medical scanners, 3D printing, and an electronic... Is it larynx? Larynx, yeah, to do with the voice. And they've produced a single sound using this 3D. They said the sound is something between the vowels in bed and bad. So I've got a little clip. So there your mummy sounds.
That's me being an Egyptian pharaoh.
Okay. Mama! Well, are you ready to hear this sound?
Oh, absolutely.
You're not ready? Here we go.
ready.
I'm leaning in, but I've got headphones on, so it doesn't really make a difference.
It's all good, man. Me too.
Hey!
That is...
What?
That's
That
coming
was
up
it.
at the end of the episode.
Do you want to hear it again?
Yeah, one more time.
James, you know when the credits roll today, that is coming up.
Do you want to go to the pub later, maybe?
Go on then.
I was work to do. Any good? How's the pyramids going? The slaves doing a good job? I don't understand though. I mean, this is just me being like completely not scientific, really. How can they print a larynx, look at a larynx, rebuild it, and know how someone's voice is going to sound? Maybe you can tell from looking at
Well, my very limited knowledge is the bone structure does impact it a small amount. That's what's weird though, is a lot of it is cartilage and like things that degrade over time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you'd have to guess, wouldn't you? Surely. I mean, if you're a scientist that is listening to this and worked on the then please tell us how you did it. But yeah, no.
It would completely take the horror out of being chased by an undead mummy if it was going.
Although, to be fair,
someone needs to like re-edit the mummy movies and.
You know, when his mouth goes really wide, he's like, it's just like.
It's just occurred to me though that I don't actually know what state a mummy is in underneath all the cloth. I've never seen an unwrapped mummy, so it might have a bit more tissue or cartilage than you think.
There's still some skin on it. I've got a little picture of it here. It looks like
Oh yeah, they're actually in pretty
it's
good
like a
condition considering
dried-
they're thousands of years old.
Oh, they're mummified, aren't they? So
Yeah,
it's like.
Oh, that's not going to work. I've got a background.
it's like dried fruit.
They look like Voldemort in the last Harry Potter film.
You mean when he dies and he's like.
Yeah, when he's under the table and he's like...
Oh yeah, baby Voldemort. Yeah, but that Voldemort was covered in barbecue sauce in that film, wasn't he? So try and imagine him without the sauce.
Freaking tasty Voldemort.
I'm gonna roast you, boy. I'm gonna roast you.
Yeah.
That's cool though, Lewis. I've never ever heard that before, you know. Yeah. I've never ever heard of that before. I've heard of them like, you know, reconstructing like Tutankhamun's face, trying to see what they look like, but I've never ever known them try and recreate the actual sound of a voice. It's just funny that they chose, instead of a word, just a
I mean, when are scientists going to stop fucking about with mummies, though? Because, like, it never goes well. Like, when they found Tutankhamun's tomb, like, everyone died on that expedition. You think, like...
Yeah, Howard Carter, man. That I still love that story because it is genuinely really creepy.
That'll be an episode.
Yeah, Howard Carter and the Tutankhamun curse. I can imagine now, June, just like a news story in like National Geographic or Discovery saying what you just said. When are scientists going to stop?
Not fucking about with mummies because it never ends well. To be fair, if anyone has mastered magic, I think it's the Egyptians. Because those curses, they are holding up well.
Yeah, they usually have some sort of residual effect, whereas others it's just like, CBA with it.
You don't know what you're talking about, but Egyptians, they nailed it.
Yeah, Egyptian curses have no expiry date.
Also, very good at agriculture for Egyptians. There was that as well.
Good lads.
And, leagues ahead in preserving agents, because those mummies, far better conditions than, like, Victorian skeletons, so...
And the canopic jars as well, with the organs in. Full of herbs and stuff.
And they put dead cats in statues.
But no, I did like how they, from like looking into history and stuff like that, they kind of had big respect for animals. I mean, whether it's because they had, similar features to their gods, but they did bury pets with like kind of the same rights as they would with humans. They mummified them, they were blessed and whatever. So it's quite touching in that regard. I mean, it's not as nice seeing a cat all desiccated and mummified, but not just tossed in the ground,
Yeah, as great as the Egyptians were, though, they did have some problems with, like, slavery. But
no, shush, forget that.
But history's not served by ambiguity. They're either great or terrible. So
yeah. Let's just forget about it.
Hello everyone, it's James here. Just letting you all know we do indeed have a social media now. You can find us on Instagram at MMMidlanders or MMMIDLANDERS. Or if you even want to send us a sternly written email or maybe a strange experience you've had, send it to marvels.mysteries@gmail.com. That's marvels.mysteries@gmail.com. And one more thing, if you have access to Apple Podcasts or use it frequently, if you'd be so kind to rate, review and subscribe to Marvel's Mysteries and Midlanders on there, it would really help us out, hopefully get more listeners in, and hopefully, if things work out, we get more content out to you lovely listeners, because that's what it's all about. It's about entertaining you, believe it or not. And also because we have to, worship our corporate overlords. Praise them, praise be. But thank you so much for listening to the podcast. It means the world to us. From the three of us, thank you. Other than that, have a great day. Take care.
Fellas, great episode. Thank you so much.
This was good. I had
the
goodest of fun.
Thank you, Junan, for all your research. And also, I'd like to thank Freya Chu for her research assistance this episode. Thank you very much.
Yes, and I got, hang on, there's one man that seemed to have all the answers when it came to Foxhill House. So also, Stephen Cox from sbcox.history-redlands.tripod.com.
Wow, that's a lot of dots.
Yeah, that man, he answered a lot of my questions.
That man
with his website.
Made it all up.
Maybe, but we've got an episode out of it.
I'm joking. No. Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Freya. Thank you, and also Lewis. It's all not real. The building's not even real. And thank you, Lewis, for your Egyptian fact of the week. Yeah, it's great. Absolutely brilliant.
No problem.
Sounds like a plane going down. Until next time, thank you so much. This is Marvel's Mysteries and Midlanders. I'm James, and I'm joined by Junan and Lewis Carter. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.